with regards to the government's directive that has now called for a curfew, a daily curfew between 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. So Kennedy, what is happening in Nairobi? You are within the CBD. How are the residents of Nairobi taking this particular directive, which begins today?
A very good afternoon to you, Zainab, there in studio, and we are here at the busy archives place where everything actually seems normal at this particular point, and there are people who are already even seated at the benches where they actually sit near the Tomboya statue, and all of them are actually going around their businesses. The businesses also around this place, mostly the eateries, are also going on with their businesses as normal, as people are now preparing for this curfew that starts at 7 o'clock in the evening. We also saw some traffic marshals who are even controlling traffic at this busy point, as everybody is trying to prepare themselves to what will be befalling. You'll know, Zainab, you and I have not been able to witness a curfew before, and mostly those people who are in some counties in the northern part of Kenya and also some coastal parts of Kenya are those people who have witnessed curfews that have been occasioned by Al-Shabaab attacks and all that. But this is a curfew that will be occasioned by what we know is trying to contain the coronavirus that has been spreading so fast. At this particular hour is that what we know, according to government estimates, is that we have 31 people who have been infected with this particular virus, and the number seems to be rising because every day now that the government is giving an update, we know that the numbers have been rising. We do not know what number is going to be given today. We also do expect there is a probability of the Interior Ministry giving a standpoint or an overview of what will be happening, as Kenyans will be on this thing called a curfew starting at 7 o'clock this evening. So this particular point, there are busy Kenyans going around their businesses, others going even into supermarkets just to buy some of the things because they do not know. Remember when President Uhuru Kenyatta was announcing a curfew about 2 days ago, he said 2 or 3 days ago, he was very particular that if Kenyans will not be adhering to this particular curfew that has been put into place, there will be more strict measures that are going to be put up, and this now shows that there will be a probability of a shutdown. So as of now, the streets of Nairobi are as busy as they have been, not so much though, because at this particular hour when everybody is not working from home, the towns are particularly busy, but there are those who are going on with their businesses. Already there are some government agencies who have said that starting 6:50 o'clock this evening, they will be patrolling the streets just to see compliance, because it is expected that at 7 o'clock this evening, you should be at your home, probably watching news to see what is happening, and NTV will be there to show you what we are doing every time, because our bulletin today starts at 6 o'clock, and we'll be showing you how the police will be patrolling the streets. Already, as my camera person and I have been going around, we've been seeing some heavy police presence as they also trying to map up areas that they will be looking at. What we do know as of now is that there will be police officers at most of the stages in town, and everybody is just trying to catch a glimpse of what they are doing right now, so that when it gets to that particular hour, at already 4:30 o'clock, we know that there are also some matatu termini stages that will be flocked with most of the people who are already in town. If you're not from the crucial or the essential services, then you will not be allowed past 7 o'clock, but there are those that are going to be opening. There will be supermarkets, there will be the pharmacies, there are health workers, both at the national and county governments, that will be patrolling. So it is a unique situation that we'll be expecting today starting at 7 o'clock, and NTV will be there to show you what is happening. But right now, Zainab, it is business as usual. People are going into eateries, and at this particular eatery, people are coming, queuing, taking their food and actually going home to eat, or sitting at places like this where we are seeing that there are so many Kenyans that are already there, sitting, probably talking or doing anything else. But also there are those who are observing the social distancing, and there are also those who are not doing that social distancing. So it is something that we are keeping an eye on, Zainab, and we will be keeping our viewers abreast with everything that is happening, not just here in Nairobi, but in most parts of this country, as this curfew will not be affecting some parts of the country, but will be affecting the whole country. Back to you, Zainab, in studio.
All right, thanks, Kennedy, here in the central business district in Nairobi. And of course, you do not want to find yourself on the wrong side of the law. So try as much as you can to be at home by at least 6 p.m. so that by 7 p.m. when the curfew begins, you're not within any part of the areas you're not supposed to be in, rather in your homes. Now, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General, Major General Mohammed Badi, has announced free water distribution from today to specific areas within Nairobi County, specifically targeting the informal settlement areas and disadvantaged communities. This, he says, will help in the efforts by the government to curb the spread of the COVID-19. Badi promised that the water will reach the targeted households by today once the Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company finalizes on the exact timings of the distribution. He was speaking during the handover ceremony where the Nairobi County Assembly, led by Speaker Beatrice Elachi, officially handed over the full functions of the county to the new metropolitan boss and agreed to work with him for the benefit of the residents of Nairobi.
Yeah, we pass it. Yeah.
To start off with, how they are going to receive water from now onwards, free water. This will be communicated to you, the action plan of that free distribution. I would like you to inform your people, the various wards you are various areas you are representing, so that they are aware. Let's leave politics out of this thing. We are now in a crisis situation, and we must be able to give Nairobians what they deserve.
Thank you very much, and we really appreciate. As we said, we will look for time and bring in the members per cluster so that you just meet each of them and their wards.
Well, the Ministry of Industrialization has met private sector stakeholders to discuss the impact of the spread of the coronavirus, which is having on the economy. CS Betty Maina has advised that whereas the curfew, which kicks off this evening, will restrict movement, it should not decelerate commerce as businesses can optimize on digital channels to drive business. Our reporter Victor Kiprop attended the briefing and now gives us more details.
All right, Zainab, that is, of course, one of the very many things that the CS mentioned in her press this morning, of course, admitting the kind of effects or impact that the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic continues to have on the Kenyan economy. And she has mentioned that even though the curfew begins tonight, businesses should adjust and make sure that production of essential services by bigger industries should not be stopped, of course, urging employees or companies to ensure that their employees who work in the evening shifts to arrive before the 7 p.m. curfew kicks in, and of course ensure that they leave after the 5 a.m. of course deadline of the curfew. And she spoke of a number of things that the government is doing to continue to help the economy, of course, in the light of this pandemic. But let's listen in, of course, first to what she had to say on the curfew.
Most of the concerns that have been raised by business revolve around availability of liquidity to support business in the face of dwindling sales arising from diminished production, and also because of disruptions to their markets. Some of the concerns that business has been raising since 3 weeks ago has been how the government can support enhance their liquidity through fast tracking of VAT refunds, issues of settlement of pending bills to give them some relief, especially pending bills owed to SMEs by government institutions, and support to the banks to ensure that they can support these businesses, rescheduling of loan repayments, issues around their taxation and the tax regime. As you are aware, and I'm really happy to report that concrete measures have been taken to address these concerns.
All right, and of course, that's not the only thing that the CS mentioned. She also spoke about urging local manufacturers to step into this, the advantage or the opportunity that comes with the suspension of imports of most products to ensure that they can produce what they can produce locally. And some of the sectors that she mentioned that our local manufacturers can take advantage right now is the textile industry, food products from food processing, the ICT industry, as well as motor vehicle assembly, which of course the country can take advantage and produce locally. Remember, in the first 9 months of last year alone, Kenya imported second-hand clothes worth 17.8 billion shillings, and that is some of the things that the CS was mentioning, that our local textile industries, which are underproducing at the moment, can step in and, of course, ensure a constant supply of textile products in the country. Zainab.
All right, thank you, Victor Kiprop there. Now to the coast. And commuters at the ferry crossing channel have had to comply to social distancing regulation. Even as the commuters follow the new changes, most of them agree that there is need to improve the waiting areas where hundreds mingle as they wait to board the vessels. GST officers are among the law enforcers at the crossing, as Kevin Mutai further explains. He's coming live from Likoni. Kevin?
Well, security has been beefed up here at the crossing channel in Likoni, and as you can see behind me, that is a queue of commuters waiting to board the vessels, and the queue is approximately more than 500 meters, and the commuters have they've had no option but to comply with the regulations, and the GSU officers, among other law enforcers, have been here since morning to implement the directives that were issued yesterday. And what we are receiving from now is that, contrary to what we were told yesterday, is that the ferries will be unavailable from 5 p.m. today. This is in preparation for the curfew that will begin at 7 p.m. I'll repeat that again. What we know for now is that the ferries will be unavailable from the channel at from 5 p.m. this evening until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And as you can see is that different police officers, security officers from various law enforcement agencies are here to make sure that the directives are followed to the latter. The heads of this particular operation, among them the Coast Regional Coordinator, have made sure that any person who will try to defy these orders will be arrested and prosecuted. Those are the comments that we managed to gather from some of the security officers, and that they've been given permission to arrest any commuter who does not comply to the social distancing regulation. And in the ferry, while on board the ferry, what I can see is that the commuters have been arranged in a way that they're standing, let's say, like almost a meter apart from each other, and they are in a line. And one ferry carries approximately less than 150 passengers, contrary to what we've been seeing, hundreds and hundreds of them using one ferry to cross the channel. So as of now, what we are seeing is that there is a bit of a discipline, that the commuters are really and are cooperating with the law enforcement here at the channel. And of course also I can see the Kenya Coast Guard officers are patrolling the ocean using the boat, and of course other equipment that they have deployed here to ensure that sanity will be everything will go on here at the channel as planned. And of course we'll be here on standby to monitor how the curfew will be implemented as at around 7 p.m. Back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Kevin Mutai there from the coastal region, that is Mombasa County. Now, county governments across the country have been on the forefront of enforcing directives given by the national government in fighting the spread of COVID-19. Zacchaeus Mosamo is now joining us live from Bungoma with a clear picture of just how counties are adjusting to the new reality. Zacchaeus?
Thank you, Zainab. We are coming to you live from the county of Bungoma here in the heart of Western region. We have been looking at the situation here, how people are getting prepared for the curfew that is starting in, let's say, around 4 hours from now. That's 7 p.m. today. And people have a feeling that it will actually help to slow down the spread of COVID-19. Indeed, if there's any case this region, remember Western region, Bungoma, Kakamega have been on the spot already. Kakamega having reported a case that is actually isolated at Magadi, and then Bungoma County reporting the first case, the first death coming from Bungoma County, that is from Kimalewa village in Kabuchai constituency. But just to get a gist of this and how prepared the county is, we are now joined by the county chief officer in the Ministry of Health, Patrick Wandili. Sir, how prepared are you with this in regards to fighting this COVID-19?
In Bungoma, I want to say that we are prepared. We began this from the outset when we got the information about this coronavirus, and we have set an isolation ward at Webuye with over 10 beds, and I think we have a number of PPEs that are already with us, and so our staff have been trained also. We have trained over 188 staff, medical staff, both doctors, all cadres, doctors, COs, nurses. We had a 2-day training at Mabanga ATC, and we think that now if we got a case, our staff will be ready to handle it at an isolation ward.
We have had cases from other counties that the kits are unavailable or they are not enough. What about the county of Bungoma? Do you have enough kits for that?
That is very true, that just the way it is, probably worldwide, I think we badly need more protective gear, because our medical staff are also prone to this problem, and they are our frontline army. And so if we don't get these kits quick enough, and the cases spike, then we definitely will have a problem. So we need more of these kits. We've made arrangements as a county to get more, but probably we ask national government to actually move with speed and avail them to us.
Also, the COG also yesterday through the chair announced the pay cut for county employees, that is the ministers and the chief officers. Maybe let us have a feeling of one of the ministers, the CEC for Health, Dr. Anthony Walela. How do you have a feel? Do you support that? And is it going to help the fight against COVID-19?
Yeah, humanity dictates that we must all come in and assist the rest of society. There are those of us who are on a permanent salary, and we have to look and assist those who do not have a means in which they can make their living. We know very well that the president has announced an 80% cut. The governors did announce a 30% cut, and the CECs, those of us who work in the counties, will have a 20% cut among us.
Maybe lastly from me, maybe we have also have a case of medics being, living in fear, the medics standing up in fear. Have you done the training and maybe preparing them psychologically to handle the case in case it arises here?
Yeah, having an unprepared medics is like going into war. This is like the Third World War, and going into war without an army that is prepared. So you must of all have the medics prepared before you can be able to go into this war. We have been able to train our medics. We have been able to sensitize them. We know very well that in Italy and China, the first medics who attended to the patients did not live to see them alive. So the first medic who came up and announced that this is coronavirus did not see the rest as they lived on. So it's important that all our medics are better prepared for this virus.
Thank you so much. That was the Minister in charge of Health here, Dr. Anthony Walela, and the Chief Officer speaking to us in how the county is prepared and in terms of fighting or preventing this, the spread of this disease. We will be keeping our eyes to make sure that we give you an update on how the situation will be unfolding. We'll specifically be there to also see how the curfew will start and how Kenyans will respond from this particular region of the country. From here in Bungoma, my name is Zacchaeus Mwasame, and now back to you, Zainab, in studio.
I thank you, Zacchaeus, there from Kakamega. Now, as the number of COVID-19 cases continue to rise in the country, different counties have rolled out measures to curb further spread. Kilifi, which was pointed out as a county of concern by the Ministry of Health, and Machakos have started spraying surfaces in hospitals and open places.
The fumigation exercise in Kilifi County has begun after the Deputy Governor and 2 others tested positive for COVID-19. The exercise carried out by the Kilifi County government in collaboration with the Kenya Red Cross team focused on open public spaces.
Tumeanza utaratibu huu ambao umekuwa spearheaded na serikali kuu ya kuweza kunyunyizia sehemu ambazo watu wanakusanyika ikiwemo police stations, masoko, stage za basi. Tunaweza kunyunyizia tukishirikiana na Kilifi County Government Public Health Office kuweza kunyunyizia hizi sehemu ili kuweza kupunguza uambukizaji wa virusi hivi vya corona.
Kenya Red Cross also placed water storage containers and sanitizers in the public areas in a bid to improve hygiene. The county government has also suspended public service vehicles coming in and out of Kilifi County or within Kilifi County until further notice. In Machakos, spraying of public places has also commenced. The Machakos County Committee Executive Member of Health says that the exercise will go on until the virus is eliminated in the country.
Like for the hospitals, every day new people come. For the hospitals, we plan to be doing it every 4 hours, and then for the markets, once a day.
The county government has urged residents to practice proper hygiene as they carry out their daily activities. Nayuma Sampao, NTV.
Meanwhile, traders at Karuri Market in Kiambu County are in the forefront in ensuring social distancing while doing business. The traders have decided to divide themselves into groups of 2 to reduce the population operating within the market. Henceforth, food sellers will remain in the market, while those dealing in second-hand clothes will take up space at the Karuri Primary School grounds. The traders say that the move aims at ensuring that they are not out of business, but at the same time, following the government's directive on social distancing, most of the traders lauded the move that would have otherwise forced the closure of the market. Limuru, Wangige, Makongeni markets in the county were closed on Wednesday by the county government. On that note, let's take a very quick break here on NTV at 1. We still have a lot more we've lined up for you. Stay with us.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
NTV and PesaLink, the most efficient way to send money, have a message for you. We know you need to stay home and stay safe for yourself, the ones you love, and for Kenya. But that does not mean you can't work or do business. Use PesaLink for all your payment and banking needs from the safety of your phone or laptop. Stay safe, stay home. Business goes on with PesaLink.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director Daniel Manduku has resigned. Manduku resigned nearly 3 weeks after he was arrested over corruption allegations. The Managing Director had been expected to be charged after the Directorate of Criminal Investigations concluded investigations into the award of tenders worth 2.9 billion shillings. He was released after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions failed to charge him in court, triggering a war between the DCI and the Office of the DPP. Manduku, in his resignation letter, says his decision to leave the office has been taken after deep introspection and lengthy consultations. His resignation will take effect on the 1st of June this year. Meanwhile, 24 African countries are currently operating under full border closures, with 10, Kenya included, having in place international air traffic closures at 7 p.m. East African time. Kenya will join a number of African states observing mandatory dusk to dawn curfews in a desperate bid to stop COVID-19 in its tracks. South Africa is just completing their first 15 hours of a 21-day total lockdown. The country's President Cyril Ramaphosa, while addressing the nation, urged the country's military to fill communities with trust and confidence as it was deployed along with the police.
South Africa braced for a nationwide military patrolled lockdown Thursday, joining other African countries, imposing strict curfews and shutdowns in an attempt to halt the spread of the coronavirus across the continent. Some 57 million people will be restricted to their homes during South Africa's 3-week total lockdown, which began midnight Central African time. Donning army uniform complete with the cape, President Cyril Ramaphosa saw off soldiers before they deployed from a military base in Soweto Township.
But I also want you to execute your task with great respect to our people, with great humility to our people. I have confidence in the people of South Africa that they are going to abide by the restrictions that we have placed on their lives.
Hours before the start of South Africa's lockdown, panicky residents in economic hub Johannesburg stocked up on food, alcohol and other supplies, with some large supermarkets running out of eggs and the staple maize meal powder. People have been warned against failing to comply with the order. Violation of any of the regulations will carry a 6-month jail sentence or a fine. 2 men have already been charged with attempted murder for defying a quarantine order and allegedly going out after they tested positive for the coronavirus, exposing others to the infection. In the Sahel, Burkina Faso, which last week recorded sub-Saharan Africa's first death, announced that 8 towns, including the capital Ouagadougou, would be quarantined from Friday. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, authorities ordered a 4-day total confinement in the capital Kinshasa starting Saturday. Thousands of hospital nurses in Zimbabwe went on strike Wednesday over a lack of protective gear and water shortages, just days after the country reported its first coronavirus cases. Their union said,
We have made a call for SAFE to say, while we are sorting out some things, for now let's withdraw ourselves temporarily.
Doctors are also considering walking out of public hospitals over similar grievances. Zimbabwe has recorded 3 cases in less than a week, and one of the patients, a 30-year-old broadcaster, died on Monday.
Well, as the global confirmed cases surpassed the 500,000 mark, more countries in the world are going into lockdown to control the further spread of coronavirus. The United States of America currently has the highest number of cases reported around the world.
Countries across Latin America have tightened measures to halt the spread of COVID-19, with more lockdowns, border and school closures, as well as increased aid to the region's poorest underway. As cases of COVID-19 continues to rise, Bolivia and Colombia became the latest countries to impose a total lockdown, while Chile extended its school closure until the end of April. About 1.3 million residents of Santiago will be on lockdown for at least a week. This follows an order by authorities to extend school closures until May. Classes were suspended on March 16th, just under 2 weeks after the first coronavirus case was recorded. Chile has reported more than 1,100 infections and 3 deaths. While leaders on Thursday promised $5 trillion to stave off global economic collapse from the coronavirus pandemic that has killed 21,000 people. Had hit Italy and Spain are living through nightmarish scenarios, with health services buckling under the strain of mounting caseloads.
Now, Family Bank has reported 949 million shillings in net profit for the full year ended December 2019, an increase from the 244 million shillings reported in 2018. The surge in the bank's net earning was driven in part by a 14% increase in its total income to stand at 7.8 billion shillings and a 4.8% decline in loan loss provision to stand at 734 million shillings. The bank's loan book now stands at 51 billion shillings, up from 44 billion shillings in 2018. The bank's board has recommended a dividend payout of 24 cents per share. A political party targeting women and youth has been registered, bringing to 69 the number of political parties in the country. The Party of Economic Democracy, or PED, according to the Register of Political Parties, has satisfied the requirements of at least 1,000 members in at least 24 counties. The party, that has been recruiting members since 2018, has now been able to register members in 27 counties with complete offices in the counties. The new party's leadership has aligned itself with the proponents of the Building Bridges initiative and says it will advocate for the voice of the youth in the setup. Well, in other stories making headlines in the sports world, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has completely recovered from COVID-19 after self-isolation. Arteta says that people should be emotionally more open about the coronavirus. The 38-year-old tested positive for the virus on 12th of March but has since recovered. Arteta reported feeling unwell after it was confirmed Evangelos, the owner of Greek side Olympiakos, who played Arsenal in the Europa League in February, had tested positive for coronavirus on the 10th of March. Meanwhile, the 4 Bundesliga clubs in this season's Champions League have pledged 20 million euros to support fellow German teams during the coronavirus pandemic. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen will forego their share of the national media revenue and donate the remainder from their own funds. Shanghai Shenhua has offered Odion Ighalo a 2-year contract extension worth more than £400,000 a week. The 30-year-old Nigerian striker is on loan at Manchester United. The Chinese club wanted to reward Ighalo for his good form at United, where he has scored 4 goals in his first 3 starts. The loan deal in England expires on May 31st, but it is likely to extend until June 30th because of the coronavirus pandemic. His current contract expires in December 2022 and Shanghai wants to keep him until December 2024. He has always said it has been a dream playing for United, but the club is supported as a boy. All right, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this hour. And just to remind you that the curfew begins tonight at 7 p.m. So you want to stay safe, stay at home, and of course do obey the directive that the government has given, because you might find yourself on the wrong side of the law and that will not be very good for you. Remember, the curfew beginning at 7 p.m. ends at 5 a.m. and this is not specified to which date it will be ending. So stay safe from today, except for those, of course, in essential services, which will be bringing you later on in subsequent bulletins. Those who have been exempted from this particular curfew will be bringing you all the updates and all the information we're getting from the government as well as globally, and the World Health Organization itself on the COVID-19, the spread itself and the numbers. But the numbers in the country so far stand at 31 confirmed cases of the COVID-19. 1 person died yesterday and 1 person also recovered, something positive to look towards. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin. Many thanks for watching. More news later on in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Zainab Ismail. Do stay safe and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.